Hey guys, just Name with Rampengu Nation, and I just came back from the Denver event, the charity event by Rocky Mountain Collectibles. Shout out to them for hosting a great charity event. And I topped both days, the singles event on Saturday, and then the 3v3 with my teammates Peter and Jib. So it was kind of nice. Um, and I played Tri-Lyrilusc for both days. So my lists are kind of different for both days, but I'm just gonna showcase like both the profiles, and I'll have like what I played against like in the bottom right here on the both profiles. But there are slightly different between them. So for the first one, this was a singles event that I played on Saturday, and this is what I played. The ratios look kind of different than like standard, I guess, because most profiles I saw were playing like slightly less bird count, and they weren't playing two sapphire. But I think like that's kind of good, and I'll go through the profile why. So start off with 3 warbler. Like this makes sense, obviously. Like it's the best like starter with all the other bird pieces you can have because it doesn't use your normal summon and it can special any of them. Then 3 sparrow. Some builds play 2. I like 3 because even if you don't open warbler with it or bird call, you can still like Farrageet it out of your hand to trigger the effect, so it's kind of nice. Same issue with wagtail. Wagtail I like multiples of it at 2 because um, warbler and wagtail is actually a combo that's actually really strong that can end on the full board with Oath and Ensemble Robin. So that's why I definitely like playing 2. And the grave effect's actually relevant. So if you use like the first one to banish, you still want to use the other one to attach later on in the game. So it comes up in the grind game especially. 2 Canary, a lot of people have been back and forth between 1, 2, and 3 actually. Like there's no set. The issue I have with it is that say I open like Canary in my opening hand and I don't have like any other pieces to go with it, it usually is used with Wagtail or Sparrow or any of the bird pieces at the end to make ensemble. But if my hand's very weak, then I have to use it early, and the issue of that is that I'm locked into XYZ summoning for the rest of the turn. Like it's not that big of a deal because you can win games with just the XYZs on the field, but I've never came into a situation where I felt like I needed like the third because I'll always have access to the second or the first because ensemble can add back one, and I play prosperity not desires, so it never really came up as an issue. But anyway, so 2 Canary, and then I played a 2 Sapphire Swallow. Now this one is the weird one that people may notice. Um, People are like, okay, well you only really need one for the combo. Well, in the bird deck, it's really hard to like hand trap it in a very good effective spot because when you make your first recital with Sparrow, they can't Veiler or Imperm the card because it can't be targeted. So people are like, okay, well, you'll always get your Swallow Search off. Well, yes and no, but there are combos where you can play if you hard open like a Wing Beast and any of your like Searcher ones with your Swallow. So like you normal those and you special the two, and then you can actually do like a pretty nice combo and a very decent end board with it. Swallow, the second one also comes up if your board gets outed from like Dark Ruler or Droplet, and you can still like make a big push on the following turn when Zeusing your opponent with this. Also, it's a second effect of like when it's used as an XYZ material for a wind monster. It can attach another Lurelist to that card. Actually comes up very nicely when you're pushing with Assemble Nightingale to make a very big material Zeus. Because then you can get actually like 4 materials onto your Nightingale even before you go to Zeus. Because the Sapphire can attach one and the Wagtail can attach itself. So that's it for the bird monsters. The only other thing I would like ever consider is just playing more of them, but so far this ratio I think was fun, and I played this ratio for both days. The tri monsters, I think these 8 monsters are like core. I don't think you need any more, any less. I think it's perfect. 3 Nerval, it's what ties the deck together with the bird engine and the tri-brigade pieces. Fractal is another piece that ties the birds and the tri stuff together because this can also dump Sparrow or Wagtail, and if you have Warbler, it combos with either of those, which is pretty nice. So yeah, I think 3 and 3 of these are just like good. 1 Karas on 1 Kit. You have to play Kit in order to dump the Oath, so that comes up pretty much. And then the Karas as an extender comes up a lot actually, because sometimes you can like pitch an extra bird piece out of your hand, use the effect, summon out like some more, and the Canary back the bird piece you pitched and get another card, and then end on like Ensemble Dragon Lords or Ensemble some more Dragon Lords, something like that. So yeah, so I think these are good. Now this is like the hottest debate of whether to play Apex or Wind Statue. I truly believe that the bird deck is one of the best decks of the format right now. So I didn't want to play the wind statue because it was only like situationally good in situational mashups. Like it's bad against Flunder, it's bad against the mirror match, it's bad against like a lot of decks. Also against evenly matched. If they have a way to force your oath or like deal with it, evenly clears your board for free. Whereas if they have like droplet evenly, you can apex the evenly and then oath the droplet, which is kind of nice. So apex is just more flexible in terms of its effect negation, and that's why I liked it personally more than statue. So that's it for like the core engine monsters. As a bottom, you can see I put what hand traps I played, and I'll go over those. For spells, I played 3 Prosperity because a lot of the time this is a 2-piece combo deck, and you would need 2 pieces in order to play. You look at the extra deck and you say, well, it's pretty hard to like know what to banish. Well, it depends. Like if you ever feel like you need to go for Almirage, then you keep the Almirage, and I would banish like one Recital, the Appaloosa, and a Mega, and then you can just combo that way essentially. But pot was actually pretty nice. Its only conflict obviously is kind of with like Fair Jeet's effect, but being able to play the game I think is just way more important. And you can't afford to play Desires because then you'll banish Oath. 3 Bird Call, best spell in the deck. I think this is what makes the deck like over the top, and it's what makes it look really good. 1 tanky, 1 foolish, 1 for 1. I didn't play Call By because I wasn't too afraid of Drill, because you can still end on like Simorg Ensemble, especially if you play like a heavy Brave package through Drill, so I wasn't like fearing it too much. And I just wanted a card that will always allow me to play, which is Foolish, over the Call By. So that's it for like the engine. And then always like the 1 Oath. There's a combo. I'll go over like Oath in a second. But then my hand traps I played 3 Nib, 3 Ash, 3 Gamma, and Driver. So Gamma and Driver is like really, really good because of how versatile it is. It also like stops Droll if you have to start with like Fractal, Bird Call, Prosperity, Tenki, anything like that. It'll hit Ash or Droll. And that's why I played a Mega, because you need to be able to like clear the Gamma or the Driver and the pieces off your board completely in order to like special Warbler. That's the only reason why I played a Mega essentially, and it gave like more value to maining it if I went first with it. 3 Ash and 3 Nib. I just liked Ash because it was like generically good against like everything, and then Nib I wanted something to cover Phantom Knight, Sword Soul, and Birds equally, and Nibiru was the only card that did that. Droll did not cover the Phantom Knight deck or Sword Soul deck as much as I liked. And people will say, well, doesn't Nib conflict with Warbler? Well, yes, but there are a lot of times where you can like mitigate this, because if you have like a way to Fair Jeet, you can just Fair Jeet out the Warbler and trigger it that way. Or it only conflicts when you directly have to open like Warbler, Sparrow, Nib specifically as your pieces. Then it's like kind of awkward, but you can still make it work. So I think like the marginal risk of that, and that's only 50% of the time when you go like second, that matters. I think like the trade-off for this being a blowout hand trap in like a lot of situations makes this card like way better, like, and should be played, because your opponent has to respect it. If they just play willy-nilly into it, then they're just gonna lose. Okay, and then the last card is Tri-Brigade Oath. I don't know how much you guys know about this card, but basically if you control one of each tri-type, Wing Beast, Beast, and Beast Warrior, you can banish it from your grave and negate spell trap, kind of like how Hot Red works that your opponent controls. So this stops Dark Ruler and Droplet, and its other effect is like you can special summon a tri-type to one link zone a tri-type you have of a different tri-type. So if you have a Fair Jeet, you can switch like a Wing Beast or Beast Warrior from your grave to that zone. It's kind of nice. Like if you get Dark Ruler and you open it, you can like pay cost send off the Apex and then revive the Apex with Oath. But yep, so that's it for the main deck. Side deck. So the mistake I realized was that I wasn't maining a Crow in this list, and it comes up when you break like an Enforcer board and you want to Crow the Enforcer. I changed this in my 3v3 list, but I decided 1 Crow, 3 Droll, 3 Droplet. I wanted a generic, like the reason I didn't main Droplet is because I wanted to know if to scoop faster if I lost the die roll, instead of me waiting for like 15 minutes for them to combo just to see my 6 cards Droplet to know if I can play. So yeah, it matters because like the time rolls kind of suck, so I wanted to be able to just know if I can play quickly or not. 3 Storm, 2 Cosmics. In the single, I thought there would be more rogues, so I wanted more background removal. And 3 of the most unfair trap card, Harpy's Featherstorm. So yeah, this card's like super unfair, and if you ever resolve this card with board, you just always win the game usually. Even if they like Dark Blue or Droplet you, this card is just like a blowout. Extra deck, 3 Recital. Most lists I see play 2, but I think 3 is correct. 1, it's like free thing off Prosperity you can banish. 2, In a grind game, the third one comes up if you want to do the OTK with double Starling Nightingale. 3, like, it's just, there's some combos, like one for one by itself and like a generic monster, like a hand trap or so, can end on like Utopic, Recital, and Nightingale, but you need like the third Recital and stuff like that. So it comes up quite a bit, and I think like playing 3 is correct. The one Nightingale, obviously, this card's great. You can break a whole Phantom Knight's board if you make it with Spare because they can't Fog Blade it. It's kind of nice. Ensemble Robin. This card is like just insane because it's not once per turn. So against other like special summon reliant decks, it can like hold on its own, which is nice. The F-Zero package. This is what makes the deck like really resilient to nib and other hand traps. Because you can just like make him pretty quickly. Zeus, kind of self-explanatory. Samaric. This card is just really insane against like target-based decks too, because once you get an Apex and any of your wing beasts you put under him and the wing beast it points to can't be targeted. So it's super crazy. One Omen. This is a consideration I would play maybe a second of it because a lot of times with the Oath combo you need to use the first one just as a combo piece, but in a grind game you kind of want the second one just to use the banished cards. So I would heavily consider playing a second Omen, to be honest, but I don't know what I'll cut yet. The one Fairjeet comes up a lot. I don't think the second is necessary if you play correctly. One Dragon Lords, one Appaloosa, one Almirage, all these are core, and then the 15th extra deck spot was the Omega. Alright, so let me get into the 3v3 list and I'll explain the differences. So this is the 3v3 list that I played with my teammates Peter and Jeb. Peter played Phantom Knight for the 3v3 and Jeb played Birds as well, but he wasn't playing hand traps, he was playing board breaking cards. So like drop a Dark Ruler and he sided like Mystic Mine. This was actually like a really good strategy because if they figured he was on the board breakers and they Mystic Mined his opponent, they'll figure I was also on it. So then they would be more hesitant to play on those cards, but then play more likely in the hand traps, which is pretty nice. So as you can see, the burn ratio is the same, just like 3-3-2-2-2, which I like a lot. Same tri-brigade ratio, like I said, and the Apex. It's about the same. 3 pot, 3 this, 1 4 and Foolish Tenki. So the first 30 cards are about the same. I played Ash and Nib between both days, but I switched to the Droll because I think people would have realized that birds were the best deck going into the 3v3, so I expected like a lot more birds, hence why I put the Droll in. And then I rectified my mistake and the singles event, and I put the 1 Crow in, obviously, just to hit the Enforcer posts, like when you break their board, and then obviously the Oath. The side, I moved the Gamma package to the side, so that's where the Crow and the Drolls replaced in the main deck, basically. And I sided the second Crow. The droplets remained the same, and I did 2 Storm Harpies instead of just like the 3 Storm and the 2 Cyclones. I cut the Cyclones because I realized people weren't playing like that many back row decks, so I didn't feel it was like necessary to play it anymore. Then 3 Feather Storm and the 1 Order because I wanted the 4th card that was a blowout against Dark Ruler and Droplet when I went first. So, yep, that's it for the side deck. And then the extra deck, it's exactly the same, except I cut the Omega for the Downer Magician because I wasn't maining the Gamma anymore, so I didn't feel the need of playing it. As I said, like the Downer is more or less the 15th spot of the extra deck. Well, not the Downer, I would say. Like there's a card, the 15th spot of the extra deck is actually the Appaloosa, and this is what could be like the second Omen, the Jib played the second Zeus, or it could be like almost anything, but I think the first 14 you kind of need because I do believe in the 3 recital, to be honest. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy this profile. I'm going to be posting the Tri-Brigade combo with Oath like tomorrow, so you guys can see like what Fractal and Warbler can do to end on the full like Oath board. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. This is Justin Singh with Rampengu Nation, and see you guys.